evening, everybody. I feel like this is really far away, but it's too heavy. Yeah, I'm not going to move it. Welcome to All In tonight. We have been going through so many great things over the last couple of weeks along the lines of I dare you, because we all know when you are dared to do something, there's something on the inside of you that's like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. I mean, me at least. So tonight, I want to talk to you, and the statement I want to make is that I dare you to speak life. So can you all say with me really loud, speak life? Use your diaphragm, speak life. I feel like I sounded like a totally different person then. You can take a seat. Sorry, I should have told you that before. My name is Beck, for anyone that does not know me. I am part of the Young Adults team, and I've been part of, yes, the awesome Young Adults team. I've been part of Audacious Church for nearly 4 years, I think, now. Best church in the world. And so I'm excited to share with you tonight. I'm going to take you back 20 years. So it's like time warp, right? And I'm going to tell you a story about me, because who doesn't love to talk about themselves? And so I want to tell you a story from when I was, I think, 15 or 16 years old. I can't remember precisely, but this was 20 years ago. And I was in church after the service, and I was hanging out with a group of friends. We were just chatting, and my best friend was there, and her older sister was there, who I really looked up to. She once complimented my eyebrows, and I was like, she was really cool. She was like, I don't know, a good 5 years older than me, I think, at that time. And so I really looked up to her. They were all talking. I got distracted because the youth were kicking a ball around, as they always do, and something was about to get broken. So my focus was drifting from the conversation for good reason. But she asked me a question in the middle of what she was saying, and I didn't answer because I wasn't paying attention. And she said, Beck, honestly, sometimes I think that there's like nothing going on in your brain. Like it's just like, you know, like circus theme tune. She literally did that. She sang that to me. The whole group of people are like, that's so funny. That's so good. Good one. And I just was like, you know, like how you laugh things off. I'm not one of those people that, I'm not going to stand there and be like, that's well out. Get lost. You know, like I was like, I don't want to make anyone feel bad. I'm just going to laugh and absorb it and think about it later. So at the time I thought, funny, whatever. I thought, whatever. So I went home and I thought about it. And all through that week, I thought about it. And I was like, why is this bugging me so much? Why is this playing on my mind? I've had much worse things said to me than that. I got shoved in lockers on countless occasions when I was in high school. And I can easily fit into a locker, so it was even easier back then. And so, you know, I had people, you know, I had some pretty horrible things said to me, being bullied, and like people used to rip me apart for being a Christian and whatever. You know, like I was used to having people say stuff that wasn't nice to me. What this girl said was minimally offensive. You know, like it wasn't a really standout thing. She didn't verbally tear me apart. She made a joke in front of all of my friends and they all laughed. And that's what kept playing on my mind. But they all laughed. Maybe they must have all agreed with her. They must think that's true. And so the fact about me at that time, right, I had done really well in my GCSEs. I'd gotten A's and B's in most things, apart from statistics, but we don't talk about that. And I was doing well. I had a job. I was on the leadership team at church. I was on the worship team, like core team. I was leading the kids ministry with someone else. Like I was a competent human being. I was doing good things. I was fruitful. I felt like I was doing well, right? So why, when this person said this seemingly like innocuous thing to me, why is that the thing that planted itself in my brain and caused me to change my behavior? Why was it that from that point on, I started to step back from things? I started to question who I was. I started to question how people saw me. I started to question whether I could do the things I was being asked to do. I started to question whether I could do anything good, because these people obviously all thought I was really empty-headed, and maybe they're right, and maybe actually what I think I'm doing right is actually wrong. And can you know, like I gradually pulled myself away from doing things. I stopped putting myself forward for things. I would give things a go, and I'd do things that were things that I was really confident that I was good at, but trying new things or anything where I thought there was a chance I might make a mistake, and they might all go, oh, she was right, that girl. Like it would be justified, what she'd said. And in thinking about this, it led me to science. Everybody say science. More excited than that? Okay, science is exciting. And I want to talk to you. So your mind is split. This is super simple, the fastest science lesson you've ever had in your life. But your mind is split into two parts, broadly. Your conscious mind, which is what you're aware of right now, what's going on with the thoughts that are whizzing through your head right now. But you also have a part of your mind called your subconscious. Nice little brain there for you. Some facts about your subconscious are that it is always in the present and in the here and now. So your subconscious does not do the past and it does not do the future. It does right here, right now, all the time. It never switches off, because if it did, you would stop breathing and you would die. So it never switches off. And it processes everything through emotion and not through logic and reason. And that one blew my mind, because I thought, isn't that interesting that I knew all those facts about myself? I knew what was true about myself. So why did I let this affect me so much? Why was it implanted in my brain that I couldn't get away from this thing? Well, it turns out that your subconscious takes everything literally. It doesn't do sarcasm. It doesn't do anything. It literally takes everything literally, which means that your subconscious cannot take a joke. It's incapable of doing so. And the even crazier thing is that 95% of your brain, of your mind, is your subconscious. So that means that a huge part of you, of how you think, actually can't process words and laugh it off. It means that anything that is said to you, your subconscious takes it in, processes it through emotion, not by what you know about yourself, by facts and logic and reason, but by your emotion, which we all know is a dangerous thing. So when I saw this, I thought, wow, no wonder. Like, I could not get this stupid joke out of my head about myself, and I let it affect me so badly. It took root in my mind, and I let it sit there, and I let it affect how I behaved. And the incredible thing that we have as Christians is a God who knows us inside out. He made us intricately, right? And so he knows about the subconscious. He knows about how much of our brain functions this way. He knows all of this stuff. And isn't it incredible that he inspired people in the Bible, men in the Bible, who had no knowledge of this stuff. They didn't have Google to look it up and find out about the subconscious. There was no research. There was no scientific understanding of how the brain worked. But God knew. God knew all along, because Proverbs 15, verse 4 says, "Kind words heal and help, cutting words wound and maim." And our truth bomb tonight as well, Proverbs 18:21, that words kill or words give life. It's either poison or fruit. You choose. Imagine handing someone poison for them to drink. Being like, here you go. You know, like bottoms up. Like, it's insane. It's insanity. It sends you to prison if you do that in real life, right? Yet we do it constantly with our words and the way that we speak to people, the way we speak about people. And so I love that God, from the very beginning of time, he knew about us. He knew how we worked. And he showed us, actually, we have a choice to make about what comes out of our mouths and how it's going to affect the people around us. And I believe right now that there are probably two groups of people in this room. There might be some in the middle, but I think probably there's people sitting in here who you can identify with what I've just said. Someone has said something about you, and it's probably not even the worst thing that's ever been said to you, but it has taken root and it has affected how you see yourself, how you behave, how you operate. It's stopped you from doing things, it's killed dreams, it's killed the desire to go after a certain thing that you were going after. So you identify with what I've just said. And there's another group of people in here, and right now maybe what you're feeling is something called conviction. Conviction is not about shame or guilt or feeling bad about yourself. It's simply being convinced of sin or error. So it means you're sitting here going, oh, I shouldn't have left that comment on that video of that girl singing. Oh, I shouldn't have sent my friend that message. I shouldn't have said that thing about, I shouldn't have said that thing to my mum. I shouldn't have said that thing to my dad. I really shouldn't have said that thing to my housemate or my boss or, all the different people that we interact with. We have this opportunity in every interaction to choose poison or fruit every time. But what do you choose? We're called to speak life. And so what I'm talking about is not about sitting here feeling guilty, right? What this moment is for is making a choice in how you respond. Because we as a collective group of people have the capacity to change our culture purely with what comes out of our mouths. You don't need money, you don't need authority, you don't need influence. You literally need the hot air that comes out of your mouth to change environments, to change cultures around you, to change lives of other people. What that girl said to me seemed really insignificant, but it took root. Part of that was my choice, but that's another preach for Alex to do. But I let it do that to me, but she had a choice too with how she spoke to me and how she spoke about me. And so our response tonight, I hope, will be, if you've identified with my experience, tonight I hope that you understand that what God says about you is not what everybody else says about you. What God speaks over you is life, is a plan and a purpose to prosper you, not to harm you. That is God's plan and that is God's purpose for you, right? And so tonight, I am really praying that God would speak to you tonight and you would be encouraged about who you are and who He's created you to be. And for anybody else in this room who's sitting here thinking, oh, I'm reminded of a bunch of times when I've not spoken life and I have spoken poison. Can I just stop the shame and the guilt spiral right here, right now? Bring it to God. Tonight, ask for forgiveness. Change your ways. Choose fruit, not poison. And so I just want to bring up Sinead. Where's Sinead? Just for like 2 seconds. Sinead, can you come up here, please? I didn't tell you about this, did I? No, the look on her face. So I want us to be a group of Sineads, right? You know why, right? You know why. And you know why you know? It's because she lives this. She speaks life. Right, I'm going to give you an example. She introduced me to someone a couple of weeks ago who I have never met before. Before I could get a word in edgeways, she spent a good minute hyping me up to this girl, telling her how great I was and she was telling her all this stuff about me. And I was standing there like, I really hope I live up to the expectation, because this is like, wow, Sinead. But I love you for just you pour it out, like it pours out of you. Be like Sinead. That's what I'm saying, right? Is be like Sinead, yes. Be like Sinead. You can sit down now, thank you. Okay, so we're going to be practical right now. I'm not going to leave you with this hanging in the spirit for you to discern for yourself. We're going to be practical and we're going to do something in this moment right now about this. So regardless of whether you identified what I talked about or whether you felt convicted maybe of some times when you have spoken poison and not life over people, there's a card, there's 2 cards under your seat. I just want you to grab one of them right now. And there's a pen there too in your offering envelope, or I think there's a bucket if anyone needs pens. So I want you to grab that. We're going to put a minute on the clock. And I want you to write something on that card that is encouraging for somebody else. So I want you to write life on the card in order to speak life to somebody else. It could be someone in this room, but can I encourage you, it could also be your mum. It could be your dad. It could be your boss. Imagine the impact it would have for you to go into work on Monday, right? And be like, hey, this is not going to make any sense to you. Here you go. and walk out mysteriously. You know, like we have this opportunity right now to change someone else's experience, to change someone else's story. What that girl said to me changed my story. Can we have that minute up on the clock? Sorry, just so I don't lose track. We have an opportunity to do the opposite of what that did to me. We have the chance to build people up. You might have had some horrific things said to you or said over you or about you. You might have said some horrific things over and about somebody else. But there is grace. There is forgiveness in the house of God. There is restoration in the house of God. That is what is available to us when we follow Jesus, when we believe in Jesus. So you've got 30 seconds. And if you're a bit stuck on what to write, you're great. You're awesome. I think you're fantastic. I like your hair. You know, it can be anything, right? But it just needs to be something that is going to speak life to somebody in one form or another. I can hear lots of people writing. It's good. Okay. So I'm just going to pray over us right now. So I want you to grab your card, and I want you to hold it in your hand. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think about the impact you want those words to have over this person that you've written this for. And we're going to pray. Jesus, I thank you that you speak life over us, that your word is full of the incredible things, the promises that you say about us and that you give to us, God, that you believe in us more than anyone else could ever possibly believe in us. God, that you have things planned for us that we could never have dreamed of doing on our own, but with you, all things are possible. God, I pray that right now, people would make a decision. If they've been speaking poison, they would pick up speaking life. God, if they've been, saying things to people that are tearing them down, I pray that they would choose to build people up. And God, I thank you that as we make this decision tonight, it would not go away tomorrow. Our resilience and our ability to continue would not fade with the week. But God, that we would be determined and we would make a choice right now that this is who we are now. This is the kind of person I'm going to be. I'm going to build up in Jesus' name.